Hi all, it's Kylie from Kylie's Cardcraft. Thanks for joining me again today. The other day I was playing around in my craft room and I came across some tags that I'd made, as in just base tags. They don't fit the journals that I'm doing these days. Most of my journals are smaller ones. When I first started, I was doing large ones. I've found my rhythm and I'm doing smaller ones these days. So, and this is a slightly smaller one to the one that I actually found the other day. And I thought, what am I going to do with it? Yep, I'll cut it down to another tag. I could do that. Well, it's a waste of all that cardstock. And let's face it, we have no cardstock. So I played around with it, excuse me, and came up with this. So here's my initial tag shape. So yeah, it was a little bit bigger than this one that I've come across as well. And this was cut in the most, it was cut in that. Isn't that beautiful? It's not something that I'm going to use. So I covered it. I thought, yeah, no, I'm still not going to use it as a tag. So I folded it and made it in to a mini book. So easy to do, such a way to use up some of my excess tags that I've got cut. Now this one I've got going this way, so that, now here's an altered book that I'm working on at the moment. So it has a pocket here and a pocket in there. This one then just slides straight in here. It fits my altered book that I'm doing these days. A little bit of lace hanging out because I like my bits hanging out. And I've now got something that will work for the project I'm working on. It's so quick and easy. So I'll just pop this to the side. Oh, have another little tag or a tuck in here. Just sit that onto the side. Right. So this is our tag shape. Now let's face it, we can cut our tag shapes to whatever size we want. I had one of those rainy afternoons, you know, where you sit down and you create all this excess. And I'd cut out a whole heap of tags in the early days and then shoved them aside, not going to use them. So to utilise this now, all I'm going to do is fold this section up to whatever size I want my book. I want a little bit left over here. So I'm just going to push it down a little bit. I'll get my scoring tool and give it a good sharp crease. There's our book. Okay, so it's just a matter of decorating it. And to put our standard book in there, so here's some coffee or tea dyed. I think it's, could be either or. It's off one sheet. I've already cut it so that it's the right height that I want this. So this tag at the moment, I think, is about 3 3/4 inches. Yep. By about 7.5. So I've folded it up so that I've got about 2 3/4 inches because I wanted quite a big gap here. You could fold it right up to here and just have your little tag shape at the top. I like to have a little extra where I can stamp or decorate and pop in all my ephemera. So because I've now got this bit, what did we say he was? 2 3/4. So my pages, I don't want them to go past that. So you can see in this one, they finish around about 1/4 inch in. And I've got lots of odd shapes here because I literally just used up a full A4 copy paper sheet that had been dyed. So if this one is 2 3/4, I want to make my sheets about 2.5. So double that, it's 5 inches. So I've already cut them to the 3.5. So we're going to go 3.5 by 5. Straight down. So there's one which will be folded. We'll go to our next one. That's got pretties everywhere, so it doesn't really matter where I take it, I suppose. So by 5. Don't throw away your excess because I put all those ones in there as well. I like that side. By 5. So there's my 3. I'll just move that out. So if I just sit them nice and tight together. For me, I don't mind if they're too wonky or not exactly the same. I like the odds ends that come out. I'll fold them down, give them a crease with my bone folder as well, so that I've started to get a little book. Now, you could have as many pages or as little in there as you want. So I've got these little bits of offcuts. They are not quite 3 1/4 by 3 1/2. In which case I'm going to fold them that way to give me a little bit of excess. And again, I'm not going to fold them dead in half. And I'll tuck them between my pages so that I've got a little bit of variation in my sizes as I go around. So that one will give it a little bit more. You can do whatever you like. That's not overly straight, but it works. Works for me. Tuck that one in there. Got this one. And we'll do him at an actual half. In there. Now, I also came across some doily that I'd tea dyed, or coffee dyed, I'd say, with the colour of that one. There's no reason why I couldn't put a little bit of doily in there, but if I fold him in half, I reckon he's going to be longer than I want. So I've just cut these in half, so they should fit. Yep. But he's going to be a little bit longer than I want. So I'm going to trim him just straight down there. I'll sit him back in. Somewhere around there should be fine. Just to give it a little bit of extra oomph in there. And let's have a look. Do I want him in the centre? Quite like it in there. Let's pull out one of these and change that over. It's just a matter of working out what you want. Right, so I've got a nice thick book going on in there. So I'm going to even all these up, just so that when I stitch them, I know they're all going to be caught in the thread. So about even there. Bring that back up. That's even. That one can come down. There we go. Quick and simple little book out of one A4 sheet. So I've got quite a few pages in there. Now I'm just going to mark my centre point. I'm sure you've all seen this done many, many times. Look, and this is where it's easier for me to go back into centimetres. So it's 9 centimetres or round about 3 1/2. It doesn't have to be completely exact. So 4 1/2 is going to be my centre point. And I don't want half here. I want to go down a little bit. So that I'm still catching all of those. So I've gone about 1 1/2 inches down. So if I go back up that way, 1 1/2 inches. Make sure they're all tucked in again nicely. Now, when I do my pamphlet, look, you could run this whole thing through the sewing machine. But usually when I'm sitting here and doing those sorts of things, just like that hand pamphlet stitch, move you up a little bit, down. I'm going to put my holes in these first, and then I will transfer it over to my actual tag. Okay, double handling, I know, but it's just the way I do it. Everybody will find they've got their own way of doing these. And I'm going to get a paper clip just to hang on to that. So if I open that out again, paper clip that down. paper clip that one down. Now, when I did my other one, I've decorated the inside because, as I said, it was in this sort of paper. So I've covered it with a tea-dyed grid paper, and then I've stenciled over it. With this one, because it's this nice, for me, nice craft cardstock, I won't need to redo it. But if you're going to decorate the inside, do it prior to putting your little book in. It's so much easier to do this whole thing without your book already in there. So if you're going to do it like that, so we'll pull him out. We know it's all ready. I'm just going to paper clip those guys together so that they can sit together and I don't lose them. All my holes are in there now anyway. So let's say we want to decorate this. And it is nice and easy. Let's face it, I've got another doily sitting in here that would match this up beautifully, wouldn't it? Doesn't matter that it's over there. So let's have a look. If I match that one and that one, sit that down there, sit it on there. There's my fold. So I want it to come off around about that. Again, because I ink and all the rest, I'm not too fussed if it's not quite perfect. So that isn't it? Oh, look, that was on the line. That was on the line. Right. So if I stick that down there like that, get rid of that one. I will adhere that on and then I will trim off my excess. Something really going on behind that I can see. So let's just very quickly grab, let's go that grey. So I'm using the watering can in the archival inks. And do I have, let's put something, now I know what I want. I want a flourish or a flower that'll go around the side. So, go into the flowers and let's see if I've got something that's going to head down the side that's going to be fairly full like these. Could even do something like that. That's on the opposite corner. And leaves. On something fairly full. Look, I could even go that because we're only going to see a little bit of it, aren't we? So very quickly, if I put something like that off the page down onto there, you'll then see bits of it poking through. So let's do that. It's as quick as that. The more you sit there and think about it, the more you'll second guess yourself each time. I'll just sit that on there. It doesn't matter that my stamp's hanging off this end because I'm not using that part of it. I'll just grab a stamping mat and I want to go up there like that. So I'm going to turn it round because I find when I'm using my acrylic blocks, I like to have them sideways so that I can hang on to them better and actually see where I'm going. So what I'll need to do is flatten out that fold first of all so that my cardstock will stay straight or as straight as I'm going to get it. Right. So we'll ink this up. Now it's quite a detailed stamp, so remember, don't rub your ink pad backwards and forwards, up and down each time. That will give it a good coating without actually filling in too much of that detail and losing the detail that's on there. I'm just going to grab a scrap piece of paper to sit under that one as well so that you can see how I'm killing my mat. Doesn't matter, it's only craft foam. Right, and I don't want it to go on the other side. So what we'll do is I'll use that one under that. And so that my stamp doesn't go onto this side, I'm just going to sit this here so that it's right on the edge of that fold. And my stamped image will go onto my scrap now and not onto the back side of my tag. Because we've been sitting there talking, we'll just give that a quick ink again. Right, so to stamp it, I want it actually off my card a little bit because I really want that top corner to show a pattern. So you can see where this would have gone over the other side of the stamp, of the tag. So we've masked that bit up. Give it a good push. Don't take both hands off, remember. Lift it up. Right. So now when I take that away and that away, what I've got is this section. So when I sit my doily down now, I have that. And I'm actually thinking I might, now that I like that, I might tuck that back just a little bit further because I like this section sitting in here. So what we might do is just trim a little bit more off that. So about there, what do you reckon? Another little bit off him. And about down there. I'm thinking. Let's have a look where it sits now. Yep, I like that. Okay, so now we've got this image sitting behind our doily. Move that back over there, that one back over there, put that in the bin as I go. So to adhere our doily, what I'm going to actually do is sit it on, make a mark of where this is sitting on my doily, like so. Because I'll trim it off afterwards, but it just gives me an area to glue so that I can see where I need to actually glue. So just grab an old sheet, scrap sheet, so that I can glue it on. I'm just using my glue stick with this one because the doilies don't need that much glue. They're only a very light paper, especially once they've been dyed. They get that beautiful crispness to them, but they're also fairly fragile. So they won't need too much. So just give them a little bit up there. As you can see, this is a blue glue, so I'll get rid of the excess of that. Right. Just grab my cloth, take away some of that. It's a new blue glue because I well and truly used my other one. Once that's on, I'll scrunch it out then. So this is going to go, I'm going to go that way, I'm going to go that way. So I can match up with my lines. Hope my head's not in shot there. Right. Now I'll use just this, just to flatten it out a little bit. Just in that area here. The glue will dry clear. You can see where it's coming through. Right. Use my yucky old cloth to wipe up some more of that glue. That's got well and truly enough glue in it. We do not need any more glue. Glue overload. All right, so now I can trim these bits off. I'll just grab my big scissors to do that. Get rid of it. I wanted a little bit to hang out at the front, which is what I've got, without having too much that will just keep getting torn. Oh, that's come up rather nice. I like that. What do we think? Do we want to put something else in here? Because here's our book where it's going to sit in here. I'd like something going on in there, of course, and I'd like something in there. Now, whether I stamp something in there, I'll need to wait for my glue to dry because it's a little bit damp, or I could add a cluster or something like that. That would look nice, actually. If I do that, though, it's not going, if I add anything too high, it's not going to slide into those pockets, which is really what I wanted these to do. So the cluster I was thinking of was one of my book page flowers. So, you know, I might join those two together and have something like that in there. But then with the height of that, it's not going, even that one's, oh, that one might work. That one might work. Now that's a book page flower that we've done in another tutorial, and it's just got the cotton threads hanging out of it. They're just die cut book pages, a little bit of ink and an altered button on them. What else would we... I could do one of those in this watering can colour. See, any of those sorts of ones will work. We'll work on that. We'll work on that. We'll go to this inside section. So we want something going on down here. Now, whether we put it straight on that, I have a tendency, I like, you know, your book pages, I like the plain parts in them. They've just got that most beautiful colour. So I tend to always have a stash. Whenever I get a new old book, that's an oxymoron, I will go through first of all and pull out my front covers so that I've got these beautiful papers to stamp on. They smell lovely, they feel lovely. Anybody out there that loves books and book papers will know exactly what I mean. So let's stamp something on here. Doesn't need to go all the way in. All right, so let's look at our vintage or backgrounds. So something like that would work. Let's have a look. Something like this. Nope. Notes. What about a quote? What about a quote? But it needs to go the right way. So something like this. Something like that would work. A moment lasts all of a second, but the memory lives on forever. But then again, if I can get that out. Right, let's have a look at that one. Sit you to the side. Live every moment, laugh every day, love beyond words. Because then it doesn't categorise it into a specific thing. Now that's going to fit in here beautifully in around my tagged shape. So if I want something like that in there, and I like all my torn edges. So let's have a look. I'm going to tear this first to size, to what I actually want, and then I can stamp, and so I'll know exactly where my stamping needs to be. Oh, and it tears so beautifully. So that side's fine, that side's fine. I need to come down a little bit for my tag shape. And a little bit there. Right. That'll just sit in there like that. That will still work in there. And yes, we will still set. So if I squizzle it along just a little bit further and take that right to the edge. Is that a plan? It's a plan. That's the plan, Stan. Right. Again, grab that one. And we'll continue our watering can colour for this one. So back into this. And that. This is going to go here like that. So I'm going to go, again, as I said before, I like to take my stamp this side up, round about straight for this section. And I'm going to go as close as I can to there. So I'm doing it that way so that you can see it. If I was doing this for myself, I'd go in there, but we'll turn it round so that it's directly over the camera or under the camera. Once again, tap your stamp up and down, don't rub, get a good coating on it. Make sure your stamp is around the right way. And I want to go as close as I can to that. I can always tear a little bit off the edge if I've come in a little bit too far. Right. So that should now, let's have a look. I've got a little bit of wiggle room if I need to tear any more off. And we might. We might just take a little bit off there without taking my words away. And a little bit from down here. It does tear so beautifully, this paper, but it just has a little bit of a life of its own. So, and we'll come back up to that T. Right, that's been able to bring us right back in. And now we can see the full quote. If this was me doing it for not a tutorial, I would ink around that. But to save time today, we're not going to ink. We're just going to do. All right, so back to the blue glue. Just very quickly go over. Move that to the side. Pop this one down. I'm going that way so that I can see that I'm right against it. Up a little bit. How's that? Using that, which is getting very gluey. Right, how's that looking? Upside down? There you go. This will go in here like so. I would also do, as I did with this one, I did do the back because it's now a pocket that can be taken straight out. So, and again, the back, do it before you've popped your book in. It can have just a stamped image. You can continue with that. We have another section of doily. What did I do with it? Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? Can you see it? I had a doily. I cut it in half. It's sitting here looking at me, isn't it? Did I put it with these when we were talking about these? Oh, where could it go? Where could it have gone? Surely. All right. So we'll grab another doily. Right, here's another one I just prepared. Oh, I'll find it later. See, that's got me really thinking. All right. So let's say we went something like that. If I went up there, and that one covers that, that one covers that. How does that work? I folded it the wrong spot. I need a full one there. Like that. I need to fold it there, don't I? Right. Well, that was an easy fix. Let's just do that. In which case, the other doily wouldn't have worked anyway because it was only a half doily. We'll stick to that. Right. Down. Let's see. Lovely. And once again, we'll stick it on and then I can trim it off. So I want to make sure that that's even. I've got a little bit more that side than that side. That'll go there. Got a little bit there, little bit there. Put that there, that there. And with this one, I'll just make a mark at the top end as well because it's so far to go. Right. Just going to turn that over. Now, can we see the marks? Oh, we know it's in there. One's nice and easy. And we're going to there. Where am I going? Back to there. Right, lots of blue again. Down there, in a straight line, straightish line-ish, and in. Right, that should cover it, shouldn't it? Enough. So, going back to this one, and again I'm going to sit it this way, find those lines, like so. Take that over, find my card, just to straighten that out. That might need trimming a little bit. Oh, and I've got the beautiful little embossed Made in England in there, but I reckon it's going to be cut off. All right, give that a push with my very gluey cloth. Like so. Have I got a bubble? Got a bubble. No, I think it's just a bunch of glue that's under there at the moment. Oh yes, that's going to look nice. I like that, I do. Right. Almost done. We'll do this little bit and then we'll sew our book in and it's done. And you can do this with any size tag. And if you're like me, you've got tags sitting there everywhere. Right. So we've got that. And we've got that. Probably should have stamped in there beforehand just to match it all up, but you get the idea. With that one over there, we've got our holes already in here, so we're going to sew this in now. Take those clips off and actually attach it to the tag. Should be around about there, but I'll double check that one in a minute, just so I can hold it all together. Right, so with this, because it's a smaller book and all the rest, I can just use a thinner cord. So this is, I don't know, it's a crochet cotton, very fine crochet cotton. And I did it with this one as well, but I've doubled my thread so that it gives it just a little bit more thickness without still being in your eyes. So general rule of thumb, about 3 times the length of the book that you want to do. But because I want to double my thread, I'm now going to just take it double the length, trim it off, and then with this end, I'll put it in my needle, if I can see it, like that. Get rid of that. All right, so let's see how well we've matched these up. Probably not. Undo that, undo that. Take it with the first one. There it is. All right, through your first hole from the inside, keeping a little bit there. So hang on to that with your thumb if you find it's easier. All right, through, back at the top, and up. All right, and then all the way down to the bottom. And then through the papers, which it's gone straight through, and then through there. So all the way down to the bottom, putting that back in your thumb. All right, pull him a little bit tight, and then back through your centre. When you go through your centre, you don't want to go through the cords that you've already got there. So holding this one to the side, try and find that hole. There it is. So I've gone on the other side of my middle thread, which makes it easier to tie off. So I'm just going to tighten all that, pull it either side. Don't pull too tight, you'll rip straight through your pages, especially if they've been dyed. Makes them a little bit more vulnerable. So now I'm just going to tie that in a knot, and then I'm going to go the opposite way, so that I've made a knot that's not going to unravel, fingers crossed. Give him a tight one. You can add beads to that, you can leave them hanging down. For little books about this size, and because I've got them in the centre, I tend to trim them off. Now, if you're a bit uncertain about your knot, put a little bit of clear glue on it. It'll dry clear, you won't really see it, but it gives you that extra confidence of your knot tying. There we go. So that'll just crease down. You've got lots of little pages for secret journaling or whatever else. I've put that upside down, haven't I? There you go. I wanted my doily that way round, didn't I? Why did I not check that first? I'm doing so well lately. Right, but there it is. So we can pop something on there. You've seen me play with the clusters. I would do something like this one. Do I have a cluster base that I can very quickly stamp that, but in the, what's the name? I've got a pile of them here already pre-inked. I don't think I've got any of the little scalloped circle ones, but something like that might work. How about that? Something like that would work in there. We'll very quickly stamp that one up and stick it on, and then we're finished. Right, so I really like these bingo card type things. They're in my vintage book, which is sitting over here. Background. All right, flowers. See, I keep putting things down. This is my problem. I have a new workstation, and I've just got so much room. It's awesome. But, quote some words. And flowers. So I reckon that book is now sitting with the doily that we lost. No, there it is. Got it. Right. So if we grab one of these bingo card ones, like these, which is what I used in here. They're just an old Kaisercraft stamp. And let's go believe. Live every moment, laugh every day, love. Was there a love one? There was, but it's not as nice because I'm only going to be able to get about that much. Whereas that, I'm going to grab that. So let's go that way. You can tell this one's been used lots. It's very well stained. And I want that block again because I know they fit on this. So when I'm going to stamp it, there's only a specific area that I want, but I want to cover all of it. And I want the majority of the bingo card. So I'll go back to this ink pad. I've got it on a scrap piece of paper, so I don't need to mask anything. I'm just going straight over that entire base, and I'll make a flat one for it so that it'll still sit in a pocket. So I want to go there, I want to go there. All right, and let's see what we've got. Could be anything. How's that? I like that. I like doing part stamping. So that'll fade down a little bit to that, and we'll just very quickly glue that on the front. I won't even ink it. Aren't you proud of me? Because normally I ink everything. So I've done this entire thing without a little bit, any inking, apart from stamping. Let's face it, I had to use my inks somewhere. So turn that round. About even, so that it's on the flat bit of the doily. Give him a good push. Right, so we've got two little books made from tags that I would never use. Now, I don't know about you. You may use the big ones. You may want to cut up some of your scraps to do it. As I said with this one originally, it was out of paper that was just, yeah, it's not my type of paper, and I've obviously had it for some reason, but because it was plain on the other side, I've cut it into a tag and it sat there. So this way I'll use it. Lots of stamping, because let's face it, you all know I love my stamping. I hope you've enjoyed these and given you another way to use the stash that you've got. Okay, look at what you've got. Go out and use those ones. The bits that you've been sitting there and hoarding and all the rest, your bits of paper, we've used our tags. All I've done is pop some stamps on there. That's it. Until next time, guys, happy crafting, and thanks for coming along for the journey. Bye.